What's that?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. That is, what is this? Wednesday night? Wednesday night. And guess who is with me? And yeah, we decided to do it live.
I feel like
Scott.
a
What?
Bug.
Something. I don't know.
That
Right
way.
Hey, this is my moment. Back off.
There. It is backwards.
She put it that way last night.
Well, he's over there somewhere. Just keep doing a circle. You'll find him.
Back that way.
Anyway, okay, we already got some people coming in. Hello, Humberto, Miracle, David, Conway. How you doing, guys? Sure appreciate you being here. Raj is here. Hello, Raj. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? So we decided to go live. We'll do our best not to offend anybody, but if you're offended, welcome to my life. Okay. I don't like to be nasty and say, sorry about your luck, but, at the same time, this is my family. We just have our ways. And so you'll probably see that tonight. So it is what it is. Anyway, Scott, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
So, first of all, let me just tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you all of the same questions that I gave Tori. And just give me your answer, the best of your ability to kind of dumb it down for me. There's a lot of people out there that may understand it, but there's some of us out here that don't. And so we just kind of need that dumbed down. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Can you dumb it down?
Oh,
What?
no. I'm slightly slow,
Okay, so let's get ready to rumble with Scott and Chris. Humberto says, yeah, me and Scott get kind of crazy in our regular day, and it is what it is. It's always been that way. Well, I shouldn't say it always was. There was a time that I hated him because you don't belong with my daughter kind of thing. So he had to grow on me. It's a mom thing. It's a mom thing. Just accept it.
I need to come around sooner or later.
What?
I need to come around sooner or later.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Either that or you finally bowed down to the rules.
Yes, madam.
Anyway, okay, so let's start with the first question, Scott. Tell me and tell my friends about you. The person, yourself, not the mechanic. Just you as a person. Just kind of, you don't have to get too personal, but just kind of tell us about you and who you are, what you're about. You know what I mean?
About me?
But not too personal.
I'm amazing. What more do you want to know?
You're amazing?
Yes, I'm amazing.
Oh.
I'm awesome. I'm Scott. 35.
You sound like that 5-year-old on that TikTok video. I'm beautiful. I'm lovely. I'm pretty.
She's just jealous.
Oh, screw you and you're jealous. Okay, if you say so. Answer my damn question.
I've got 5 kids. My only goal in life was to be a better father than my father was to me. Everything I know is self-taught. I've made enough mistakes to learn everything the hard way. What more you want to know?
How'd you get into it?
How'd I get?
Okay, that's the next question. How'd you get into working on cars?
I was left unattended at my grandparents' house, and he had 5 acres of my uncle's failed business ventures. So there are tractors and forklifts and anything and everything me and my 10-year-old self could get into was there. And my grandpa just let me learn the hard way. Let me learn the hard way and then tell me what I did wrong after the fact.
He
So
would tell you or would not?
he would. He'd tell me what I did after I either fucked myself up or fucked something else up.
Okay.
Then he'd explain it.
And did you fix it?
Oh yeah. I always
Because
fix my own. You always fix your own stuff. You never want anyone to have to go behind you to fix your own mistakes.
Humberto.
what?
The comments. I got the comments pulled up.
Oh, what's the comments? I
Yeah,
know
she's
that
jealous.
Scott has sweetened Chris because he makes her laugh. You don't have a choice but to laugh at this fucker. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
If
brighten the
you
world.
don't, if you do not laugh at him, you are going to be so pissed off at
Mary,
the world. It is not going to work.
Mary made it.
Okay, so Conway said my dad owned a shop. I was born into the industry. Started when I was a kid working for him. 41 years later, here I am still doing it.
I learned
So,
early on. It's a lot cheaper to learn how to fix your own shit than to pay somebody to fix it.
okay. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, the only reason I say that is because when something goes wrong with mine, of course I call you guys. So, and it's always, I don't know, being a woman, being alone, if I take it to a shop, I've seen it happen with Kay just as recent as a few months ago with her brakes. They charged her, get this, are you ready? For one set of brakes, they charged her $1,000
On what?
on her 2014 Chevy Captiva. And I'm like, I said, I could slap you right now for not calling me.
Wow, I have to use Vaseline.
They screwed her so freaking bad, and I was pissed. It took everything I had not to go up there and rip into them. I can usually hold my own, but Kay is in the same position I'm in, being a widow, but she's newer at it than I am, and she doesn't have the personality that I do. So I just call you guys, and it just works out better for me to call you guys and get the help that I need. But
Honestly,
anyway,
you're kind of a bitch. I don't know how you beat your tongue and then go up there. Like,
I am
good
a bitch
job.
and I'm proud of me being a bitch.
Like,
Humberto has a question.
what?
Humberto wants to know how many times you've said yes, madam, to her knowing she's wrong.
I cannot disclose that information. I cannot sit here and tell your mom how many times she's wrong to her face. That'll open up that's Pandora's box.
Shut up before I put some Vicks up your fucking nose.
It's kind of runny.
Mine is still stopped up and dry and it's driving me up a fucking wall. And then here I got lavender Vicks. Can you believe that? Grandma got it for me. And I'm like, lavender? They make lavender Vicks? Good Lord.
I thought the show
There's
was more toothpaste.
Humberto said the answers all the time.
anyway, yeah. Okay, so
Carlos says that he would have charged Kay $1,500 and a free detail.
he would have given her a free detail or charged her a free detail.
No, he said I would have charged her $1,500 and a free detail.
I missed that. Oh, okay. I see it. My money is on Chris whipping some ass. So anyway, yeah, I just feel like in my world being alone, it can be a challenge because these shops can take advantage of women in my particular situation, and they're okay doing it. So I just prefer having you guys take care of it. Plus, it's not like I have a brand new vehicle. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, but
like
you have one you cherish like a brand new vehicle. Actually,
I
cherish
know.
more than a brand new vehicle.
But I'm just saying, with it not being a brand new vehicle, I can allow for you guys to fix some of that shit where in a brand new vehicle, there may be some things you guys are like, I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah, the more computers, the more problems.
I had that one time, and it was what, 07? That Dodge
Which sucks.
Grant,
Uh,
that Grant one.
that was not Grant's. That was Nate's.
It was a night. It was like 05 or 07 or something.
That 04 with the 47 in it that you blew my fucking mind that you fixed.
And I won't ever touch them again.
I was proud of you for that. I was damn proud of you for that.
I won't do it ever again.
That
So
was, she was handed a basket case and figured it out.
he was handed a basket case.
Whoa. That's all, folks.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
a
She was
basket
handed
case
a
and
basket
figured
case
it out.
and figured it out.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
you are not in business as a mechanic, and you do work at a scrapyard. So my question for you is, why didn't you pursue a career? And yes, I've bitched at you about it, but don't bring that up. Just tell me from your side why you never got into being a mechanic.
Don't make your hobby your career.
Why?
You get burnt out. It's that simple. You
That's an
make your hobby.
excuse.
If you
That's
make
an
your hobby
excuse.
your career, you'll get
That's an
burnt out.
excuse.
No, it's true. It's facts.
That's probably why that thing's been sitting there for what, 2.5 years?
That's it. I go to work, I tear it apart, and I fix everything up there. I
It could.
enjoy it, but when you get so wrapped up in fixing everybody else's stuff, you never make time for your own.
Why?
Because if you're anything like me, you always put everybody else first, and then after you fix everybody else's stuff, you're just burnt out. You wanna be able to build your projects and do your things.
So schedule it as such. Time
That's
management.
true. Time management. That's a big factor in life right there. It's time management.
And you suck at it or you don't or what?
I do fucking suck at it.
I do.
You do.
It's like that.
Well, I'm just saying.
When
I
she
just want
stepped into my life, she made it fun again, but it's only fun when we're doing it together.
what?
Because working on things by yourself, just it can clear your head, but it just becomes boring when you don't have anyone to work on it with you.
Well, I don't know. I think that's just a personal preference. Some people, like Conway,
You're absolutely right.
um,
It's a personal preference. It's everybody's different.
so let me give you a different perspective here, from my point of view, not as your mother-in-law, but from my point of view as a person. Okay. So my perspective is if you do what you love,
Then you'll never work a day in your life.
exactly.
That's what he said.
That's a double-edged sword. You do what you love, you never work a day in your life, but don't make your hobby your career. I mean, you're on a double-edged sword.
See, I don't consider what you do as a hobby because you work on this shit at work too.
Yeah, but that's just knowledge over me fucking enough shit up to learn the hard way. I never set out to be a mechanic. It's just I was just always good with my hands. Anything that went together has to come apart somehow. And that's where
Right.
curiosity steps in.
Conway said, good thing you didn't become a gynecologist.
Do what?
Conway said, good thing you didn't become a gynecologist.
I I just feel like if you do what you love, then you wouldn't have to worry about burning out. So I think just personally, I think as a person, you might be looking at it in the wrong way because you guys, I've told you this before, and I'll say it in front of my people. I think if you had applied yourself, and both of you had applied yourself, look at what you could have today.
A lot.
You could have a house that's probably 3 or 4 of what we all have,
Oh,
the
geez.
size of 3 or 4 plus. I mean, you would have enough money to take care of your kids for the next 30 years.
Hey, Carlos, I think you could still go for that one. You gotta just put your heart into it.
He always says that, though.
A couple feet to qualify.
That's true. He's not very tall. He's the same height as me. Anyway, okay.
He's short.
He is.
Your
Do
mom's like
what?
what? 4'11"?
Mom's like 5'2".
No, she's hunched over a little bit.
Be nice.
How tall are you?
5'1".
I was giving her some credit, okay?
Okay. Now let's move into the detailing questions. Okay. In my beginnings, I would use the steamer and I would just spray and douse the radio console, all of that. It was filthy, it was disgusting. And I would just douse it, and I would even use a steamer right on it. And over time, and even at the time, I was getting comments from people, don't do that, you're going to ruin it. Don't do that, don't do that. So the question is, and I never ruined anything, but the question is, am I hurting something or ruining something by doing that?
By directly spraying right on it.
Right on the console and all of that, the radio, the LED screens, all of that stuff. I'm just spraying directly on it. And then I put my steamer right on it because they were nasty. I was doing some pretty nasty cars.
There's always the potential to mess something up because everybody knows electricity and water don't mix. But generally, things in automobiles are sealed up well enough that you don't have to worry about that happening.
Okay.
But there's
Even
always a
LED.
potential.
What?
But there's always a potential for something to happen.
What about the LED screens?
Like I said, water and electricity don't mix. So you're not going to hurt the screen itself, but if you get anything that's behind the screen, you're back to water and electricity.
Okay. And that's it.
That's my take on it. Otherwise, you're not going to hurt anything. Like if you have time for it to dry out fully before you have power back to the car, then no, you're not going to hurt anything.
I like Jesus' question. That's a good one for you.
What?
He said,
What?
he said, why does some older plastic turn white?
Why does some older plastic turn white?
Yeah, the fade. And like your interior of your truck.
Oh, yeah. Why does the plastic turn, especially when you're using a steamer?
It turns white using a steamer?
It can. It did it to me. That was one of my damages. I used the steamer on the buttons on the door panel, and it turned them white. They were black, and it turned them white.
On the buttons just have a coating over them. And
Oh, so I removed the coating?
yeah, you remove the black coating. But otherwise, plastics change color because of fade, because of sun.
And that's it?
That's why plastics change color. Sun.
Your answers are very different. You know why? Because
Why?
Story continued to explain it, and you're answering it in like these 2 sentences, and that's it.
I'm simplifying it. I gotta dumb it down for you.
Detail into it. That's why. It don't make sense to me if I don't put detail.
Yeah, that just shows the two differences between you.
Well,
But
you get
and
mad at me if
and
I don't.
everybody else might have seen the other videos, so they have an idea.
And I thought that's what I was supposed to do was like explain it.
I repeat it over and over and over. That's because I got to get through your thick head.
Trust me,
Okay. Okay.
Oh, your hand wasn't there. I want to give you a high five again, and you moved.
my face.
Okay, so I was told this, and I've seen it a few times on other detailers that are on YouTube. And I was told this to be careful in the early days, and I'm like, this is strange. So, when it comes to cleaning the air vents, okay, those little plastic things that you flip up and down and all that. What we typically do as detailers is we spray it, and some of us then go with the steamer. Okay. And then some of us make sure that steamer stays there so steam will go through the system and come out the other side of the car. Okay. So I was told not to do that because I will damage the mechanics inside the vents. Is that something I really need to worry about?
No, not at all. Your air ducting is plastic. It's plastic. The only mechanics in your air ducting are you have a blend door actuator attached to a rod that's literally got little plastic doors that move like this, and that's how it directs your which way your air travels between your hot, your cold, your floor, your ceiling, your feet, whatever, your dash. That's all it is. It's all plastic, and you're not gonna hurt it.
There's no mechanics in there, no mechanical shit.
Don't no, no, not on the inside. There's no mechanics. Your mechanics are on the outside.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of thought that was only because you see other detailers do it. I mean, all of us do it. All of us do it. You spray into that vent and allow the steam to go through the system and come out the other side. And you see it on video all the time. And so I'm thinking now, if everybody else is doing it, it can't be doing that much damage.
No, there's no room. It's all plastic ducting. The only main mechanics you have in an air system is your blow motor, which is usually a plastic squirrel cage fan, and they have drains on there for reasons. That way, if any moisture does get in there, it drains out.
Air conditioning causes moisture.
Air conditioning causes condensation, which goes into your air ducts.
Okay.
So no, you're
So,
not hurting anything.
so just putting a steamer in there and letting it flow through.
You're not hurting anything.
Okay. Well, I didn't
There's
think
nothing
so,
in there
but
to hurt.
huh?
There's nothing in there to hurt. There's nothing to damage.
The actuators, oh, here we go. Conway says the actuators in the system that run the door mounted directly to the box vents. Those can leak into it. It can also cause the door pivots to get gummed up and seize. What do you think about that?
The actuators, you're never gonna have an. It's it's not gonna sit. Your actuator's not gonna sit directly at the bottom where any water or moisture will collect. Your actuators are suspended. Halfway up, you got a rod that runs through the other side with a little flappy door on it. It's suspended. Flappy door, whatever you want to call it. And you got to remember, when you run your AC, you've got a little condenser under your dash that creates condensation as well. The system is designed to survive with condensation in it. It's why it's got drains.
And I think, Conway, you might be right, but I don't think we use enough chemical to affect it that way. I mean, I think it's right over time, but I don't think we use enough chemical to cause that to get gummed up, if that makes any sense. Maybe
I tell
I'm
you
just
what. I'll tell you what. I'll tear out an airbox to one of the vehicles at work, and we'll take it to your house and disassemble it so you can understand what goes on inside it. So you'll see what I'm talking about.
okay. I'm just saying that these
Visual is everything.
what?
I'm a very visual learner, and having a visual of stuff really helps. So if I tear out an airbox and take it to your house and we disassemble it, you can see what's going on and where your steam is going.
Okay. And that would be interesting to see that.
Right.
That would be interesting to see that. Only because I can only imagine what you guys tell me. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to completely and fully
Yeah,
understand it
you
because
can
I don't know what I'm looking at.
exactly. So if you understand what you're looking at, you understand what's going on when you're putting steam through there.
Okay. Now let me make sure he didn't say something to me. It depends on what synthetic oil is running. Okay, when should I change synthetic oil? Juice wants to know.
That's a rough question for Scott.
When should you change synthetic oil?
Synthetic oil.
In your vehicle, like engine oil?
Probably.
Well, you see, that's a question that I would struggle to answer because all my life and everything I have, I always run conventional. Conventional oil has worked for me. It's worked for over 100 years. That's all I ever run. And I change mine regularly every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Maintenance is everything to an engine.
And my oil needs change, by the way.
Why are you looking at me?
That
I
was
changed it
for
last time.
Tori.
Yes, I did.
We didn't.
Did so.
I've always done it. She
I-
changed it on the car or the truck.
The truck where you said don't talk to mom.
I think Andrew did it last time.
Okay, you got me. I think you did do it.
No, Andrew did it on the car. I take it back.
Then I did it on the truck last time, which means it definitely needs changed.
Yeah, it needs to be changed. Okay. Um, my next question, and we'll just kind of go to sort of well, we'll stay with the interior. Now, my question, I don't think this is worth it. I think there's in from the detailing standpoint, I think there is a ton of liability, and I think that it's just a dangerous thing to do. And that is removing seats. I feel like every detailer should be able to do their job with the seats in place. There's absolutely no reason to take it out unless, and I've said it on the last one, unless you don't know what you're doing or you're wanting to make a few extra bucks. And so at the same time, because I feel like it's a liability, um, is it a liability? Is that something that we should really be doing as detailers?
Removing the seats. There's a lot of detailers that do remove the seats, and removing the seats gives you way better access to like the side of a center console or right down there underneath the seat tracks where everything likes to accumulate or in the little pockets.
But we
And
don't, we've got enough tools that we can handle it with the seats in place, or we should be
I
able
don't
to.
know what all tools you have, so I ain't gonna disagree. But there is no real liability to removing the seats as long as you know what you're doing and understand that anything that went together has to come apart and understand how it comes apart.
Well, and my concern is, here's the deal. The reason I say it's a liability is because it's kind of like a car seat. If I go messing with a baby car seat and they have an accident and that car seat wasn't buckled down properly, that could now become my responsibility. If they have an accident because I took the seats out and I didn't do what I was supposed to with those bolts and get them right back in where they were supposed to go, and one jerks loose and somebody's killed, that's my prison time. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I did go researching it because, it was a concern of mine. And I found 2 people that did go to prison for removing the seats. Now, granted, that's a small number, but is it worth it? I don't think so. So yeah, you're looking at it from a detailer standpoint. Yes, it's going to help us see everything, get everything. We've got tools to get in between the nooks and the crannies and the cracks and the crevices. That's what I have the air tool for. You saw that at the connected to the air hose. That's what I have the air tool for. The vacuum. When it comes to getting underneath the seats, there's not hardly any other situation where even in a dirty situation that you can't get some kind of extraction under there. But when it comes to removing the seats, as far as popping those bolts and all of that, I just don't feel like it's worth it. I think there's too much liability in there for a detailer.
For those 2 people that did prison time that removed the seats, they probably shouldn't even pump their own gas.
Well, you're probably right. But I'm just saying, I could never remove a seat, Scott. I don't know shit about that.
I think you could if you looked at it. If you can pump your gas, you can remove a seat.
I'm not going, I can use an impact wrench or whatever, or a drill or whatever just to pull it out. But you've got sensors, dude. You've got a whole bunch of sensors that you could go and screw up.
Everything is plug and play. Cars are designed to be plug and play.
Okay. Well, plug and play for everybody but me.
I'm a valued asset.
And Tori brought up something in her interview. She said it's really not necessary to pull all those out because you are dealing with a lot of plugs and sensors. And she also said that in older vehicles, you could be dealing with rust underneath that's around those bolts.
She is absolutely correct. When you're dealing with older vehicles or vehicles up north, you do deal with a lot of rust. And at that point, I wouldn't touch the seats. I'd leave them in. But if you're down towards Texas, all the seats come right out, go right back in. Up north, it's rust. In Texas, it's sun fade.
Okay. Underneath?
Underneath?
Sunset underneath.
No, not sun fade
Underneath
underneath.
where the bolts are. Come on. Pull your head out of your ass.
That's the problem up north, is always rust. Down in Texas and the south, it's always sun fade in the interiors.
Okay, I'm gonna put a question on the screen.
Not for me, I can't read.
No, for her.
It's not for me. Oh, well, I guess it is. Do you clean seatbelts? Do you use chemicals or pressure washers on seatbelts? Do you ever get them wet? If you do, you could be held liable if they fail. Exactly. I don't touch them very often. If I do, it's in a car that's obviously dealership and it's really, you can see it's beige up here and it's real brown down here. So I will spray it down and then just do a basic wipe. I do not pressure wash them. I never have, and I don't have one, a pressure washer at that shop. And then also, they don't fail just by getting them wet. And I'm not sure where that came from. Now, over time, yes, you can compromise those seat belts. But to his question, what's your thoughts on that, Scott?
About cleaning seatbelts with a pressure washer.
Or just getting them wet? The way that I'm understanding that.
There are sensors in seatbelts that you do not want to get wet. Like I said, if there's no power to the car and it has time to dry out, you'll be fine. But there are sensors in seatbelts in the latches and on the little spring roll that you don't want to get wet. On top of that, your seatbelt on the bottom is a mechanical device that you don't want to get rust into. Whereas seatbelt winds back up onto its little spool, you don't want to get rust into that. There you go. Like it, yeah.
That back wing's staying lifted up.
Yeah, you don't want to get rust in there. You don't want to get gunk in there because it's a mechanical device.
I bet you do. He says I pressure wash the interiors.
God forbid if they get into a serious accident, the accident attorneys say that the seats were removed and not properly torqued to spec that resulted in the fatality. That's going to be it for you. And that's what I was getting at. As a detailer, it's just not necessary. If you can, I mean, you're talking underneath the seats. If you push those seats all the way forward, okay, you're only dealing with, under normal circumstances, about 6 inches that you cannot, not even that you would have issues trying to even get an extractor under there. But there's ways to dry extract it, so it's not a big deal. You can clean out from under there. As far as anything that's built up on the sides, this is simple, basic stuff. This is part of the shortcuts that I was talking about before. On a dealership vehicle, this can also be used in regular vehicles. If you've got something along the sides, along the sides of the tracks, you spray some kind of cleaner on there and you use your towel and you do it that way. Use your air gun and pull that stuff out of there. It's not necessary to pull the seats. Nobody will be able to convince me that it's necessary. And I know a lot of people do it, but I just don't find it necessary. I think,
To each their own. If you're not comfortable doing it, then don't.
I'm not going to jail for anybody. And if there's a baby seat in that car, my fingerprints will never be on it, even through the glove. That's just how that works.
I hope not, because you wipe it down as a detailer.
I'm not wiping down a baby seat.
She said,
I'm
I'm
not
touching the baby seat.
I am not touching anybody's baby seat. If they leave a baby seat in there, I always tell them, if you have a baby seat, that needs to be removed by you. And then they can put it back in. That is on them. I'm not doing it. I just can't. I have a freaking conscience.
You know
Okay.
what?
If something were to happen and I find out about it, say that this was somebody that I knew and they had an accident and I knew that child and I knew I pulled that car seat and something happened to that child or they just got seriously hurt, I would never forgive myself. I am not touching a baby seat. That's just it.
From a detailer perspective, I understand your point.
I'm listening.
That's all I got. From the detailer perspective, I understand why you wouldn't pull a seat out to detail it. I understand.
Like all the baby cribs should stay there.
Well, she brought up a point of torque specs and everything, and that's a fair point. Me, I'm gonna look at the torque specs. I'm gonna use Loctite. I'm gonna retorque the seat. I'm gonna be good to go. I'm not gonna second guess myself ever. I can understand your point because your knowledge is over here, and my knowledge is over here. Different fields.
Yeah, I just don't want it on my conscience. Here's Conway's response. And yes, Conway, what you're saying is what I was saying. It becomes weakened over time. It's not an instant thing, which is the way I perceived your first comment. It's not an instant thing. You can clean seat belts if they're really awful. Now I won't go using a steamer on them. I did that until I learned more about it. But yeah, over time, the more and more they're that they bring in that moisture, it does weaken them. So yeah, I do agree with that. I wanted to make sure I finished that up because I didn't know if he had responded to that. Let me make sure I'm checking all of the. Nate says he can clean them just fine with them in place. You had me for a minute there. That's my second biggest fear. I believe 90% of those guys don't even know what a crush.
Brush washer.
What's a crush washer? Well, he got me because I don't know what the hell it is. What is it?
You know the washers that are shaped that the circle, but one spot's raised up, and yeah.
That was a question for you. That's why I was looking at you.
Oh well, yeah, it's a crush washer. It's pretty much a circle that's cut, and one's up, one's down, and when you tighten it, the washer crushes down, and it creates a lock as well.
Never heard of it.
They're all over the fucking garage. You're gonna go find one? Go find one.
Yeah, go find one because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I clean seat belts with McGuire's carpet and upholstery cleaner, which is foamy. Humberto said. The detailers and mechanics are from different worlds, Nate said.
Found one?
Okay, let me see. What
There's your
is
crush washer.
both a master auto tech and detailer? Who is? Who are you talking about, Conway? What do you got? What do you got? Sorry,
Okay,
I'm
look,
not paying attention.
regular washer. Okay.
Okay. Oh, we're talking about it. Okay, I know what a washer is. Oh, okay.
You see that?
That's a crush washer.
Yes. It's kind of blurry, but
That looks like it's broke.
No, it's made like that.
Okay.
yeah, you see that? There you
Okay, it looks broke to me. I would have thrown it away.
go.
No.
I clean the baby seats if the customer has them removed, but they are responsible to install them. Yeah. The work we do at my job is a lot different. We pull seats all the time. Conway, he pulls seats all the time, but he restores vehicles. Carpet replacements, yes, you have to pull the seats or the seats. Yeah, seats for that.
Yeah, you got to pull like pretty much
Yeah,
everything attached to the floor.
that is totally different from the realm of detailing, Conway.
I did that in Becker's truck. So yeah, you have to pull everything attached to the floor.
Right.
What?
Becker's truck, there's nothing but a cab and part of a frame.
No, but like she was saying, he restores first.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
Conway does. Conway is they have a shop where the way that he explained it, you know what? Let Conway explain it. He's here. Let him explain what he does. He says, I'm a master auto tech and detailer, is what he said here. Tori, Conway says that's not a crush washer, that's a split lock washer.
Maybe so. I always thought they were.
Give them open.
Pan?
Yeah.
What we talking about the pan last night?
The tranny pan.
Oh my god.
Okay, so what do you got?
Hold on, we're gonna go dig into the pan. The transmission pan, bolt pan.
Yeah, like I was talking about last night, we have a tranny pan full of bolts.
Yep. What's meant to be like that, Humberto? Oh, that washer? Yeah, it looked broke to me. I would have thrown it away.
Oh, he's talking about those. Because of what he just said. Crush
Okay,
washer uses for the
a
variable belt.
crush washer is a washer used in an oil drain plug and should be replaced every time you
Oh, the
change the
plastic.
oil.
No, see, they're talking about the plastic ones. We don't have any extras of those. Little drain plugs. The plastic white piece
The plastic white piece.
on
It
it. Or drain
sounds to
plug.
me like we have a bunch of mechanics who just have a different way of looking at certain pieces here, because there's two people that are in the chat that are saying two different things, and then Scott's saying another thing. So it sounds like it's no different than detailing. I detail my way, you detail your way.
I would say
She works on cars her way, and he works on cars his way, which could be very different from these others.
I do not. But it's sad because you can find out what's beneath them in that pan.
Yeah. Like that. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The little piece that, like on the dribble on my truck.
Yeah.
A little plastic piece, or it's like metal on the outside with the rubber in the middle. It's coming like a little braid.
Juice says it's the torque bolt of washers.
Just strip it all down.
Yeah. It was the worst you. I didn't know what it was. Okay. Continue.
Do what?
I said, all right, we can continue.
Okay. All right. Now we've got another question for the interior. And that is I was told not to, or to be real careful digging out dirt and stuff like on the top of the steering wheel. Right behind, there's a little crack right behind the airbag door. There's a little crack there, and a lot of dirt gets in there in some of these nastier vehicles. So I was told not to deal with that because I could set off the airbag. So my question is that a safety issue?
Okay, repeat the question.
You cut out for a second, so.
Okay, so you're looking at the steering wheel. You see the airbag door. All right, so you see the cover. And
Right.
right behind that, on top of the steering wheel, on top of the column, you'll see this little lip right behind that door. And a lot of times when they're really filthy, you'll get dirt built up in there. And sometimes you need to take a brush. I usually take it looks like a toothbrush, but it's, a bristle brush. And I get it in there. And I was told one time not to do that because I could set off the airbag.
I don't mess with an airbag unless the battery's disconnected. Whatever it is. I've had them go off my face. They suck.
So you think that I could actually trigger a seatbelt? Or I mean,
The
airbag,
airbag,
if I were to just clean out this little tiny space behind the cover.
highly unlikely, but there's always a possibility.
Okay. So Tori, what was his response?
Huh?
I mean, what was your response? She said to watch out for the higher end vehicles where they have, what'd you call it? Fiber optic.
Yeah, like Mr. Scott.
Oh, yeah, like hitting neighbor's wife's cars? Yeah.
Huh?
Mr. Scott, the neighbor, he cleaned his engine bay on his wife's Was it a Lincoln?
Yeah, it's like a 2015 or something.
He cleaned the engine bay on our Lincoln and ended up frying the whole harness because it was a fiber optic harness that he had shorted out while cleaning.
That set off an airbag?
No, it didn't set off an airbag. He fried the whole harness though.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, some newer cars have fiber optic wiring harnesses, right? And he was cleaning the engine bay and shorted out the harness, which fried the whole harness, and it cost him like $1,600 to get fixed.
Oh, so that's an engine bay cleaning issue.
Yes.
But it's showing.
I'm talking about the airbags. Would you open your fucking ears and hear what I said? I'm talking about the airbags.
Clearly, you don't listen because you asked what her answer was, and she said something about fiber optics, which brought it up.
I know, but the sensors
Look,
that
you got
on
me
the
sidetracked.
airbags, huh?
You got me sidetracked.
Oh my God! Go get a Q-tip.
Hey, I'm at ear 30.
I can smell them. Oh,
I'm not Shrek, thank you.
are you sure?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Ah. Oh
I'm
my
gonna put that
gosh,
color.
that's so funny.
Leave my ears
Okay,
alone.
here's my question. I will ask it again. Hear me, dude. I am cleaning the steering wheel, and the little column behind it, covered in all that plastic. Okay, you know there's an airbag right in the center of the damn steering wheel, right?
Right.
So up at the top of the steering wheel, right behind that little door where the airbag is covered and tucked in there, and
Horn.
okay,
Right.
there's a little crack, and some people are really fucking disgusting.
You're talking
Okay,
about between the
and
column covers and the steering
they
wheel.
get shit stuck in there. So I use a brush and clean it out. And I was told that I could set those airbags off.
The little
Could I set the
behind the
airbag
horn.
off by cleaning it?
Between the horn and the plastic pieces?
When she says door, she's talking about the horn piece.
Okay.
There's a little lip right behind it at the top because it moves. When you push the horn, it moves.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Like if you were to take the airbag off, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so you're not talking about the column covers.
No,
You're
it's
talking about behind that?
where the steering wheel is, like the basic shape of a steering wheel.
That's why I'm not retarded, yes.
The little lip, like on your truck, your horn comes off. Your little circle piece comes off, and it's got the lip over the top,
Yes.
right behind that.
Could you set the airbag off by cleaning that? Highly unlikely, but anything is possible. That is my answer.
God bless America.
Don't you even blame me.
I stated this once, but your mom doesn't know how to listen.
Oh, I do know how to listen, buddy, because I was specific about the airbag, and then you go and talk about a fucking engine bay.
Sorry, she sidetracked
You're
me.
such a
She told you my answer, and it's my fault.
Yes.
everything is everybody else's fault because you ain't man enough to take it your damn self.
Well, you deal with her, not me.
I'm starting to remember why I don't like her.
You fucking liar.
Hey, no, I don't like you.
I don't like you either.
But y'all love each other. Get over it.
That's true. All right.
At least you don't have to live with him.
What's wrong with living with me?
No, I would
What
not
is
have to live with
sunshine?
him. I would have to.
She'd be on the next 48.
You'd be gone.
60 minutes.
Dateline.
Yep. Oh.
Okay. Ready?
Let's go.
You forgot the one part on that one. Hold on. I said messing with airbags. You better, if you messing with airbags, you better off unhooking the battery. Why?
He did say that. He did say that.
I didn't hear. No,
Yes,
Yeah,
I
he did. He said that in the
You
beginning.
listen like your mother.
she gave birth to
Hey, bitch! I just defended your ass.
I did.
I didn't hear that unhooking the battery.
Yeah, he did. He said that in the beginning. I defended your ass. Watch your mouth, Scott.
Yes,
Anyway,
ma'am.
I just started broken with that one.
we're gonna move to the exterior, and we'll go to the engine bay since you decided you were gonna skip ahead like you own this damn place. When you do an engine bay wash, cleaning, does it actually help the operation of the motor? Does it help it run better? Does it help it breathe better? Does it help it drain better? Whatever.
That's a good question. And yes, it does help it when you clean the engine bay. Okay, let me explain why.
Why did you put your hand in my face?
It does help it when you clean the engine bay and clean the engine. Because all the grime and dirt that you place on a motor retains heat. It holds heat in. And your engine needs to dissipate heat to run efficiently.
Okay. Now, second part of that question. I asked Tori, do you have the engine running or should you turn it off and let it cool?
That depends on how you're cleaning it and what you're cleaning it with. If you're letting chemicals sit on it to dissolve things, then you can probably have it off. When I clean my engine, I start it up, let it run for like 30 seconds, and I'll just take a pressure washer and clean all mine off. Get all the dirt and stuff off. But my stuff's a lot older.
I was going to say, but you have the older pickup.
And I'm not worried about hurting anything because I'm not sitting there spraying it like right into the intake or anything like that.
Okay. But we did
But
talk
if
about
your
that. The
engine's
newer
hot, you
ones
don't want to spray cold water on it.
do what?
If your engine is hot and running at like 210, you don't want to spray cold water on it because you can't create cracking.
And steam in your face and all that.
Yeah, all that's bad.
Okay. So what about the alternator? Is it the alternator, Tori?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finish
Is it
what you were saying, so I can tell you.
what?
I said, finish what you're going to say, and I can tell you if that's what it was you were referring to.
I don't know if it's a distributor or an alternator. I don't know what it's called. I think they're two different things.
Yes.
And Tori mentioned that a distributor, some newer vehicles don't have those anymore. Should you get an alternator wet?
It's not recommended, but the odds of hurting anything on your older vehicles aren't that great. And a lot of newer stuff, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get your alternator wet. But older stuff, you're not really going to hurt anything.
Okay.
Older stuff has the whole open underside.
Right.
So if it's pouring down rain, you've got all that shit covered up. This is where newer stuff like the Cruise has all the covers under it.
Yeah, where you would particularly not want to get your alternator wet. But if you think of like the military Humvee that drives through 5 foot of water and just soaks the whole engine bay. So
Okay.
the older stuff, you're not really going to hurt anything, but anything newer, I would not recommend it. There's just too much electronics going on. That's like
Okay.
Tesla with the car wash mode.
Okay. So should you spray close or should you spray far or not spray at all near the firewall?
She didn't ask me that one.
No, I did not. I had it written down and we didn't get to it. And I noticed that after I was editing the video. I'm like, oh shit.
Are you referring to with a pressure washer or with like those spray bottles?
Well, when I do it, only because I don't have the resources at the shop, it's just a spray down. So my way, I don't have to be concerned about that. But there's detailers out there, many details out there that are not in my position. They have power washers. They spray down with power washers those engines after they clean them.
On a firewall, I'm not going to put my pressure washer right against the firewall because there's a lot of grommets right there that go inside the cab that you could potentially blow past and start putting water into the cab. So I'd
Okay.
keep my distance a little bit from the firewall. There
Okay.
shouldn't be anything on a firewall that's bad enough for you to have to be that close anyway.
I just was checking. I've seen it before. I've seen that they get back there and they just kind of slowly go across and it worried me, but I don't do engine bays that way. So I've never done them, and it's the same old process as when I got to a point of wiping them down. I was very intimidated. I made a video on it. I raised the hood and I'm like, okay, this guy is telling me just wipe down all the plastics, make it look better. And so I did. And then he showed in his video what not to get wet. And I think it was the alternator. And so what I do should not affect the motor in any way, shape, or form. But there are detailers.
The way that you do it, you're not going to affect the motor at all.
Jesus question.
I don't know if he's being a shit ass by asking this question, but I'm going to put it up anyway.
Every time it's low.
What cars have the best AC?
The one that works.
One that works.
That's a good
Okay.
answer.
All
I
right.
actually watched a video about that, but I can't remember who came out on top. I think it was something to do with Toyotas that had better ACs.
Really?
Yes.
Toyota's kind of top of everything because this thing's just run and run and run and run.
Toyota's a very, very good vehicle. I'm not a fan of foreign vehicles, but Toyota is a very good vehicle. They have
Think
300
so?
and 400,000 mile vehicles.
With like no maintenance.
Yeah,
But
with
they're
literally
very
no maintenance and
expensive
no
to
oil.
fix. Grandpa will not buy one for the car lot. He says that it costs twice as much to fix them.
But they go 4 times as long.
Well, I understand that, but usually when he buys them, there's a big fix that needs to be made, and he would not be able to recoup the price. So yeah, Toyota is a good car to have, but when it comes to buying a used Toyota, it's hard to find.
I refrain from my comments.
I'm just saying. None of my Honda ever had AC when I got a brand new one. Really?
I don't remember if my Civic had AC or not. Either one of them, I don't remember.
AC? There's no AC in it? Is that on purpose? Meaning it's just not there, or it didn't work?
Didn't work.
But yeah, Toyotas are very good vehicles and they have a lot of longevity to them, but when something breaks, you're paying twice as much to fix them.
They have a lot of longevity with minimal maintenance. They were well designed.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard, but like I said, you know. Okay, so let's move to the wheels. All right, so we're on the outside of the car. Let's move to the wheels. Now, we use acid-based wheel cleaners in some cases, and I have been told not to use those. Go away. I have been told not to use those. And the reason why is because I'm tired of you climbing up my leg. Is because apparently these acid-based cleaners and cleaners in general will damage the brake pads or something like that. I think it's brake pads. The brake pads. Is that something we need to worry about?
That question I can't answer. I've never heard of anything about the acid-based cleaners, common brake pads, or anything like that. Yeah, I literally don't have an answer for you on that one.
I mean, I think it would cause damage to the pads themselves if you were just like dumping it straight on there, like soaking the pad with it. But
Well, and usually the reason I say that you shouldn't be too much of an issue is because when we clean the wheels, we're coming straight at the wheels. So we're coming from the front, working inward. Okay. Now there are some who work on those undercarriages and they may spray something in from underneath the car. And that's where I assume maybe that comes from. But the people that told me to be careful, the one guy said, be careful using acid cleaners, which I was not. I was using Dark Fury, which is, I did not have the acid form of it, and that I could harm the brake pads. And I thought, what? So I wanted to pose that question.
I feel like there's an experiment there somewhere we could figure out.
Are
pads up there.
See?
they old?
No,
Oh, well, we're not going to do it on new ones.
Hey, I couldn't even tell you what they went to.
we there's no idea what that one does there. So
No,
don't
but you
even know
could
why
get
it's here.
some from the scrapyard, right?
Yeah,
So maybe
I
we
find
could
brand new
debunk
parts in
some
cars
of
all the
this
time.
shit. What?
I find brand new parts in cars all the time.
She needs to pull a set off of the car before you crush it.
There's like 50 sets sitting up there by the bins.
But maybe that's some of this we can debunk it.
Yeah, there's definitely an experiment there.
You think so?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, absolutely. And then we
Okay.
can see what it takes to deteriorate brake pads like that.
Do what?
Then we can see what it actually takes to deteriorate brake pads.
They are porous, aren't they?
Brake pads?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're considered porous.
Yes.
Are they
Like that.
rubber?
No, it's
no.
like a
They make them out of different materials, some ceramics and other shit.
what is it called? Stone that you use in the shower for like rough feet. A pumice stone. They porous like that, but not that open.
Okay.
It's more of a compact, porous type of material. And as
Oh,
it
so
rubs
it's
away,
not.
as it rubs away, that's how it causes brake dust.
Oh. Okay. That would definitely be an interesting test.
Right.
I would love to do that test. That would make a really great video. And I don't even know if the guy is still even part of my
Science.
channel, but at least we could at least look at it, I mean, it's not that hard to get your hands on the acid based anyway.
Right.
Okay. Now, on the undercarriage. Okay, so there's a lot of detailers that they'll have those pump sprayers. Okay, so they'll use cleaners underneath those undercarriages, and I've seen comments when they're using those, as long as they're only using water and not using chemicals. And I think that's a bunch of BS and nonsense or whatever. Is it safe to use some kind of a all-purpose cleaner underneath on the undercarriage?
Absolutely.
I think it would be better. It would loosen up more of that junk.
There's no reason why you couldn't.
It won't hurt anything.
No, your car is designed and built to drive on the roads, and you got road salts throughout the winter and everything else on the roads that fly up and hit the bottom of your car. If some kind of all-purpose cleaner would damage the bottom of your car, then something on the road would take it out too. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. I feel that. I got it now. I got it. And then there's one last question, and this is kind of a toss-in question, but that's because one of my viewers actually made this comment on one of my videos. And that is there a way to tell if a rim on a wheel is clear coated? Now, I think she mentioned aluminum.
The only rims I could think of that would be clear coated are ones that are painted. Otherwise, most of your rims are brushed aluminum or polished or got that what's it called? It's like a plastic that they glue onto the rim itself.
They glue a plastic to it?
Oh yeah. I cannot remember what it's called. I have to pry them apart at work when we clean rims. But it's like it's an aluminum rim, but it looks chrome.
Are you talking about that stupid plastic?
Yeah, what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know. Stick your tongue out. Maybe she can read it.
Clad coating.
Huh?
They got like this plastic clad coating glued to the aluminum rim that you got to pry off before they can be considered a clean aluminum rim. But the only ones I can think of that be clear coated are ones that are painted. Otherwise, your rims are usually just aluminum or steel.
Well, I don't even know how this ended up with a great big debate about clear coats on wheels.
I don't know how it ended up like this either, but either way, it's interesting. So,
Those are not.
So there's 3 different videos right here that you could help me finish,
no.
and we could take out the debate. Now, I've never used acid cleaner, so I'm gonna have to read up on that first because I honestly don't know how to use it. And I might call Carlos and find out. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. It's time for this old biddy to go pee.
It's time for me to smoke a cigarette.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering my questions and being an asshole.
My pleasure.
And I'm holding your feet to the damn fire on these other videos.
But I might burn. I'm already
I
hollering
don't
up.
care. I don't care. But anyway, okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out on my channel. Thank you, Scott and Tori.
Absolutely.
Find me a crush washer.
All
Those
right.
guys are saying that that's not what it is. But either way, it
What's your
looks like
crush
a
washer?
difference of opinion all the way around.
Love you.
So,
Bye bye.
what?
Said love you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Be good. Be an asshole.
Said love you.
I know what you said. I love you too. Bye. Have a good night, everybody. And until the next video, you know how it goes. Peace.